For people viewing the recording, hey, this is our week 4 of UXC Dub Winter Quarter. Today we're going to be doing low fidelity wireframes, part of our Series A.
All right. And I will kind of give you guys a recap. You guys, I see some familiar faces in here, but basically we're working on Figma. There's that link again for you guys. And basically we're working through this prompt of a grocery store design. You guys can read through that. It's also on the Figma dash. There's some data of what we analyzed 2 weeks ago about just like user demographic and buying behavior. Yeah, and then so we made a list about what we observed from the data. So obviously we want to find a solution for purchasing perishable foods, customization, and listed out a bunch of things that we want to incorporate into this app. Yeah, you can look through that. Created the personas of, this is our middle-aged mom lady. This is the single dad, I believe. And then just like some of his information, the young Gen Z, Michelle, and then we have a grandma. But yeah, just like identifying these 4 personas and how we want to target each one of them through our app and make it as accessible and easy to use for all of them. And there's a long list of recap of everybody's brainstorm from last 2 weeks ago. You can read through that. It's on the Figma as well if you wanted a quick reminder. But yeah.
Yep. Sorry, bad. So what's next? Series A, not Series B, typo. But so week 6, we're going to be working, turning our low fidelity wireframes into high fidelity wireframes. Next workshop. And after that, it's going to be a quick prototyping workshop, but majority of the time will be like a showcase of what everyone's come up with for their solution.
So then looking at feedback, which we're going to be giving each other today. So just about what good feedback looks like. One of the most important things that we want to address with giving feedback to others is making sure that you have clear and specific feedback. So you're addressing specific things that you see rather than like a general, oh, it looks good. You want to specifically focus on like, oh, this part of this wireframe looks good, and why you like it. And with that, when there is something that you don't find to be the best UX, you want to describe the problem, whether it's you find it unintuitive or you feel like a user would get lost in it. You want to make sure that you describe what the problem is rather than offering a solution and saying, I would fix it like this, because you want to make sure that you give the creator the room to kind of adapt their own ideas as they see fit while still addressing the problem that you see there. And then also, our last bullet point, just when you do give feedback and criticism, have a little love sandwich. Essentially, first share what you like about it, then share your concerns and address that problem specifically, and then end it on a positive note so that you're still criticizing the design and still getting that feedback across, but you're also not being too harsh and kind of showing that you appreciate the work that the other person has put in.
Awesome. So now we will go into creating our wireframes. Does everyone have the link to the Figma? Awesome. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to share a screen just for purposes of people that are watching the recording, but don't worry about what I'm looking at. All right, so let's all take a look at the potential solutions that we came up with. If you guys see where I'm looking at, and make sure look at your guys' ideas and then also, sorry, also I forgot to mention, make sure to get a piece of paper and a pencil or pen, because the first part of this is going to be really just sketching low fidelity wireframes rapid pace. So what I would suggest, I would select or choose one or two of your ideas, and then try to create four or more iterations of each idea that you want to explore. So I'm gonna just give everyone 10 to 15 minutes, depending on where everyone's at after 10 minutes, and we'll, show our ideas or sketches, and then we'll, give critique on where you want to, so you guys can choose which route you want to go.
And just adding on to that, we talked about the double diamond theory 2 weeks ago, I think. And so just remembering how now that we've kind of found our potential solutions, we want to make sure that we branch out again and we don't limit ourselves to one solution or one way of approaching the solution. So now we want to do a couple different sketches, a couple different approaches to it, figure out what you like with your solution, and iterate that as much as possible. Essentially, like rapidly try to come up with different approaches to it, and then after that, we'll narrow down on one essentially model for that you'll want to follow, but try not to limit yourself immediately.
Okay, wait, just clarifying question real quick on these butterfly sketches. Are you like already drawing boxes? Just like I'm already.
Say again.
Are we just like doing this down here, basically? Down here, the home grocery listings.
Yeah, we're gonna be sorry. Yeah, let's basically for these ideas, let's focus on the homepage first. On our ideations. So, cause that's basically what, that's where the other designs are gonna come from, is that homepage. So.
Show.
All right, so I'm gonna give us 10 minutes. I'll set a timer.
Wait, so all of us are drawing a version of the homepage in a sketch thing?
Yeah, so what? Oh, go ahead, Matthew.
Yeah, or even just like a couple versions. Like you draw one and then you draw another one and try to like kind of refresh how you're thinking about it. Try to come up with a couple different approaches for how you would design the homepage, and try not to like limit yourself to one way of thinking. Just whatever you feel like could potentially lead to something better, because you can always iterate and change it down the line, but just to kind of get a broad range of ideas for now.
searching for love, or to find somebody really in the summertime. And I just might put my trust in you. If we make it out the summer, you'll get all my time. So let's just ride, just me and you. All tinted in the coupe, got the stars in the roof. Tell me what you're trying to do, cause I've been thinking about you. All tinted in the coupe, got the stars in the roof. Tell me what you're trying to do, cause I've been thinking about you.
All right, about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Whoa, kid it. Why you not here with me? Can you break bread with me? Why you switch phone numbers like clothes? Why you can't answer me? Cause I got more. Why you not here with me? Can you break bread with me? Why you switch phone numbers like clothes? Why you can't answer me? Cause I got more. Yes, I blew my shorty from Florida to Hollywood. Bought some gold, shit look big on me. Got some goals, it's a list on me. Yellow bitch, I'm rich, I fucking roll. The strippers in the strobe playing tricks on me. The stones hitting different, you supposed to be pissed at me. No, they from Tiffany. Keep my name out your mouth like some wisdom teeth. You wonder why I'm not there with you. I ain't answer my phone in so long. Why you not here with me? Can you break bread with me? Why you switch phone numbers like clothes? Why you can't answer me? Cause I got more. Why you not here with me? Can you break bread with me? Why you switch phone numbers like clothes? Why you can't answer me? Cause I got more coming. And yes, I moved a shorty from around me. She been all of my business as of late. I got rich so goddamn fast, they want this break, can't catch a break. And yes, I know you tired of hating, I'm tired of staring at your face. And if a bitch retaliate, we can go tit for tat today. That's on my mama, that's on Big Sean, that's on Lil A from FLA. I here in LA, trying to make shit shake, trying to wrap this case. Ho, that's a whole 120K to the magistrate for my parents' sake. And you still talking about sharing cake. Shut the fuck up. Why you not here with me? Can you break bread with me? Why you switch phone numbers like clothes? Why you can't answer me? Cause I got more. Why you not here with me? Can you break bread with me? Why you switch phone numbers like clothes? Why you can't answer me? Cause I got more coming. Can you break bread with me? Break bread with me? Okay. Can you break bread with me? Break bread with me? She gotta shake a little something, ooh. Throwing that thing from left, right, side to side. She gotta have her own money, oh yeah. Shout out to the girls that pay their rent on time. If you ain't here to party, take your ass back home. If you getting naughty, baby, here's my phone. Slide with your boy to the bar, slide with your boy to the car. I've been searching everywhere and now here you are. Ooh, junkie, looking for them girls with the big old hoops that drop it down and Daisy Dukes. Yeah, them the ones I'm trying to recruit. I'm looking at you, yeah, you, baby. Now let me hear you say you're ready. I'm ready. Oh yeah, girl, you better have your hair
All right, 35 seconds left. Okay, that's time. How's everyone doing?
Fantastic.
Are you guys at a good spot to share, or do you guys need a few more minutes?
Good.
I'm good.
Eileen, Delaney, is you to share? Okay. Well, if you can keep working while other people are sharing. We'll go ahead and dive into it. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Make sure the music. Okay. All right. Is there any volunteers to go first, or? I can go first with no volunteers. All right, sure. Should strip this out. So the idea that I went with was, the ability to use voice to order your groceries. So that was kind of the main aspect of my design. So it's just, it's like, here, let me fold it. You see a little better. So this, regular homepage design, I recently bought, let's say, quick delivery, then like pantry staples, and then they have like side scroll on these. You can also click on it, that or the arrow to like go to a bigger menu of those. But then you have like the home page to go back to the home page if you're on one of these screens. You have the cart, and then in the middle is the voice thing. So you can tap on the voice. And once you tap on the voice, it will bring up a big box in the middle. You're like listening, and then as you're saying something, it'll spell it out so you can kind of confirm that it's listening to what you're saying. So this one says, I need to buy a dozen cage-free eggs. And then it would take you, it would stay in the same box. Then the contents in the box would change to this. And it would be like, a picture of the eggs that they found, a description. And then like have the quantity plus minus. Then you can press add to the cart, and then you can just exit back out, and you go right back to the home page. This 10 minutes is really quick. I couldn't think of another iteration in the 10 minutes, but that's where I'm at so far.
Nice. Were you giving feedback?
Yeah.
One thing just right off the bat, like after the item shows up, I feel like having them presented options could be useful, and where it's like, okay, it's not just this one brand of eggs. Like you get to like look through all the cage-free eggs, and then maybe like have pricing under them too. That makes sense.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good idea to have it like type out what you're saying, because otherwise it would be hard to know if it's looking for the right thing. That's
Thank
good.
you. Thank you.
I guess I like the design choice to always have the option to X out. and then just go back to the page that you were originally on, and not having to like take you to a separate page, then you have to back all the way to your starting point. It just overlays on what you're already on, so you can just quit at any time and go back to where you were.
Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of the thought process behind that. Yeah, thank you. Anyone else want to share? Any volunteers?
I'll share. Okay, so I have two. I can't even see what I'm looking at. So this is my first one. Can y'all see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing I drew was like the menu bar actually, and I put it on the side because something that I noticed with like phones is like you're either righty or lefty, and your thumb is on one side or the other. So like making that like accessible to change of like whatever hand you're holding it on, I feel like that could be a cool feature. And so like having it on like this side, so when you're holding your phone, like you don't gotta do excessive reaching. So I have a home button, I have like categories or whatever that button is. I have the shopping cart, I have your profile, I have settings. And then up here is like COVID updates. So like people need to know like, okay, what are we doing in terms of safety and like all the guidelines and stuff. So making that like red and up there. And then kind of similar to Dayton, like favorites, you like buy the same egg, same, like, so you can like have favorites, like star them. And then deals, I guess you can see like store deals, and then just like browsing down here. But then I like, this is like my upgraded one. So like Giant, that's like the name up here. And then I also wanted to incorporate voice. My little button was down here last time, but I thought like you can have the mic up here and then a search bar up here, like that kind of like there's symmetry there. So you can either do voice or type it in. Same COVID banner on top. And I think like to make it more personal, like hi, like whoever, hi Kevin, that like just is nice. And then same thing, but I don't know what to fill this space up with. Probably like scroll, like Dayton's, and just like horizontal viewing of products and browsing down here with icons on the sides as well.
You hold it up a little longer real quick. Awesome.
Yeah. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Anyone want to start feedback?
I can start. I liked how you had like the COVID updates thing at the really top, because I guess that was the entire reason why this company wants an app in the first place. So yeah, just highlighting that at the top so everyone is comfortable and aware of the situation that the store is in. It's nice.
Yeah. I've noticed that with like a lot of websites and apps too. So it's like, that's kind of where I drew that inspiration from.
I really like the thing you added about, I'm not sure if this is specifically what you said, but like the menu bar on the side and how it can like switch from left to right depending on user hand. So just because like I'm like left-handed, so sometimes I have struggles with like designs of apps and how that works. So I really like what you said about, you know, the personalization aspect of that.
Yeah, it's something I definitely struggle with. It's like we got phones now, and it's like if there's a button on the like opposite corner of the screen, like I hate having to like reach for it up there. We'll need to start making menu bars like on the side because it's just like easier to tap on.
I really like the not correction, but the iteration, the first second iteration of where you move the voice button, you know, into a more prominent position. That was a good self critique that you did. And then I also really like the personal touch you put. It was like, hi, you know, John or whatever. I personally really like that. You know, shopping kind of is an intimate experience, grocery shopping in a way, you know what I mean? So I think it's nice, you know, that kind of the app kind of remembers you, you know? I think that's cool.
Thanks.
Want popcorn somebody, Kevin?
Oh. Does anyone want to volunteer? First of all, I don't want to just like call on someone.
I can go.
Okay.
Or Delaney, did you want to go?
I don't care. You can go.
Okay. I'll be quick. I only have one screen because I was like really trying to think about the home screen. So this is my home screen. I have, sorry, it might be backwards. It has like the bar at the top with a menu with like extra options, and then a menu down here for like easy access to your profile in shopping. And then I also have a little recipes tab down here, so the people can, that was on there. People can browse like recipes and then add the ingredients that are like come along with the recipes, or like select which ones they would want to add. And then this is the settings, and then the profile. And then this part right here, I'm gonna read it like this because I can't read it backwards. It's like the option for shopping. So there's like voice, like you guys were talking about, or like the typical like app interface where you pick them, or on a phone call, recently purchased or saved orders. And then basically like this part right here would change depending on which option you select. And then this is just the location that they're shopping at to make sure that like they're going to be in stock with like what is there and like what's available. So only things that are available would show up. And then also, I really liked your idea, Kevin, with the COVID-19 updates. So you can't really see it, but like up here, I have a little tiny bar that would be like a banner or something with ideas like what you were saying, because I think that's important to consider. So yeah. You guys have any feedback?
I really like the like switching between modes of shopping. I had a similar. Thank you. Wow.
Thank you. Cool. Delaney, do you want to go?
Sure. So I also started with like basic, just like carousel shopping. And then this is like my similar idea to Megan, is like you open the app and you first select like how you want to be shopping, and then you would continue onto a different screen depending on like whether you're shopping in person, just on the app, online, by phone, or through video. So there's not much more to that. And then I didn't really like the like basic purchaser app because it's like too common. So I decided that you could have like create a base order, so that would show up at the top here, and it would also be a carousel, so you could like see what you normally buy, and then look at common add-ons. So like if you buy milk and eggs every week, it would always be at the top, and like it would save which eggs you buy. And like if you commonly buy pasta, it will recommend it. And then this one was just like selecting your food. Not much thought to that one.
Can you go back to the first one? You were saying that you made a design for if you're shopping in store too. That you were saying?
Yeah, I didn't really think about how that would work. Maybe it would take you to like a page about COVID guidelines, shopping in store, or like I don't really know.
I really like the second screen on that one where you just directly off the bat choose how you want to shop. And so for, I guess, like older people, you don't have to figure out that navigation part at the end. It's like you just pick from the beginning what you want to do.
Yeah, just kind of add to that, because my mom and I do a lot of like, what's it called? Online shopping at QFC. And a problem we run into a lot is like we find a product except for it says like, oh, this is in-store pickup only, or this is online only, or this is like shipped to your house only. So having that screen at the start lets us kind of like limit the options immediately so that people don't have frustrations later of like, oh, this product doesn't come the way I want it to.
Yeah. Hadn't even thought about it that way. That's cool.
I guess I could go next. I was just doing the design mostly more on like appealing to different audiences, like what's a fun way to get them to use the app. So I just have like, okay, I don't know how to, we'll go like that. Maybe you can see. It's just like a normal home screen. And then you have like these 3 categories, then recently purchased, and then you can directly go to the shopping part and enter your filters in, and it'll just give you all your options here, and you can just like directly start shopping off the bat. And then you have like my cart, an account, and account would be like you have any presets or any of that kind of stuff that would go there. And this one, I kind of got too fast into that and I forgot. These would be like the menu bars at the top, all of these. But this would be like more, the homepage would be more of like an engaging, fun place where you could have like recipes of the week, just general things about the store, like new discounts, new products that they've added, and then your weekly thing. And then you would go to one of these like categories to actually do the shopping. And the front homepage is more of kind of like a bloggy area. And then this one was super last minute, didn't really do anything. But if you have a delivery, that should off the bat just be at the top so you can track it right away. Just enter the app and then random stuff at the bottom. Didn't put much thought into that one. So yeah.
Fun.
I like your
I
filter.
like that oh, sorry, Kevin.
No, that's it. I like your filters. I think that makes it easy for people.
I was going to say that I like that you have the immediate tracking of your most recent delivery, because if you purchased something recently, you're probably opening the app just to see when you're getting it next. So I think that that's something that people are going to immediately want to see.
It's one thing, it's not really a critique on your designs, but I liked that all of your iterations were pretty different. Same with Delaney's too, so that's good. I like that.
Thank you.
Okay, I can continue this. Mine are all pretty ugly, so don't judge that part. So I thought the first thing that it should open with, see, I told you they're ugly. It's like you have your shopping list, and it has like things that, because I feel like the first thing that people think of, like you have to figure out what you want. So it has your shopping list. It's like welcome Agnes, because that was one of the personas, so personalization, I think. And then it would have like a little add or edit button, but it would also have things that it's suggesting for you. It's like, oh, based off your previous purchases, like I think that maybe you'd want to add this to your shopping list. And then when you go to like the search function, it would have like previous purchases or things from your shopping list to add to your cart, or then like deals from the store, kind of like Kevin had too. And then when you click on something, it would come up with like a little thing that's like, oh, bananas, and it's like a little pop-up, you know, and you can exit if you want to. Then it's like quantity, brand, or whatever, like you can select one, and then it says total price, and then you just add it to cart. And I have like other iterations and versions too, but they're all even uglier, so I'm not going to show those. But essentially just having that like personalization of always suggesting like, oh, this seems like something you purchased before, or do you want to add this to your list? So it kind of like knows what you want, and that way you don't have to work too hard to compile your shopping list. That was essentially the idea I was working off of.
Nice. First off, I really like the idea of when you click the search bar, it brings up like a discovery page, kind of, you know, you click search on Instagram, it brings up a discovery of things you might like. I think that's a really cool idea to have in the search bar for the grocery app. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I really like the quick add thing where you can just like pop up on your thing, add the quantity, and add it to cart from there. And then something you could also add to that is like the special instructions or like modifications on that as well, so you don't have to do that later in the cart. If you're going to add it right now, just add your customization, specification, whatever there as well, so it's already in case you forget later. But yeah,
no, that's a really good idea.
Something we didn't think about was like meeting business goals with the app, you know, like how we can like, well, Kevin included promotions, I forget who else did, but you know, something like the discovery page on the search bar could be promoting certain items, you know, certain holiday items, things like that. So I just came to my head.
Yeah, it seemed like yours was more like algorithmic based instead of more like browsing based, where it's like, okay, like you show up and then it's almost like you're talking to an AI of like, okay, these are potential things I already have or potential things I already want, instead of like kind of everybody before in mind. It's like you're browsing and you're manually doing things. It remembers your favorites, but like I think you went more of like a it already kind of knows, very personalized way, which is cool. I don't think there's a lot of apps in stores for them, so it's cool.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the shopping list is like something super unique that no other like grocery app would have. So I think that was really cool.
A lot of programming. I feel like you need to go into that.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like I can have the visual idea. I just hope I'm not in charge of actually executing how it works.
It's cool.
Go for it, Eileen.
Yeah, I guess it's my turn. So I kind of have the similar theme of like the personalization thing, but I kind of found it hard to like explicitly show personalization through the home screen. So I was thinking a lot similar along the lines of like kind of like an AI, I guess, or like some kind of algorithm that does kind of calculate like off of previous purchases. Like for this one, I don't know if you can see. These are like the categories like produce or dairy or whatever, except for they order based on like, oh, this you buy this one most commonly, so this is at the top of the screen. And then let me see what's going on here. Yeah, and then this one's like purchase history, so it'll also categorize it by like, oh, this person buys like eggs every week, so we'll put eggs at the top. And then you can still get to go to like view categories and like deals and stuff like that. This is basically a similar idea to the previous one, but like it has pictures of like recommended, based off of also like the algorithm being like, oh, people who buy this product also tend to buy this, and then they have it as a possible recommendation. And then yeah, this fourth one's just kind of like a not super important, so I'll skip it.
Like to your organization in like, it's almost like tabs, it's like drop down tabs. I think that could be really useful when putting a lot of information on the screen. So you press it and then you get your pictures and you're able to browse it instead of just having all of like the graphics already laid out on it.
Yeah. Thank you.
I also think that it's like really obvious that it's very well like thought out, like it's organized in a specific way, like for a reason, which I think is good.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm curious, what are people's thoughts on that, on the drop down? Because a lot of people had the side scroll, I feel like, you know, versus Eileen had the drop down. What do you guys think is the, you know, pros and cons of each? I'm curious to hear what you guys think.
I think that a side scroll for me is intuitive. Maybe for somebody who's older who doesn't use a smartphone very often, they might find that the drop down would be more intuitive. But there's a lot of that as well.
I think I usually tend to go for drop down just because with side scroll, some of the limitations are like you only get to see, I don't know, like 3 products at a time, and then you swipe by and then those 3 disappear and you move on to new 3. Versus with drop down, you kind of get to, I guess, see a larger selection at a time.
Yeah. I'm like a pretty visual guy though, so like having graphics immediately in front of me like catches my eye a little bit more instead of like reading a label and then like, okay, clicking on that label and then seeing some pictures. But like, I mean, yeah, that's just, I guess, personal preference.
Yeah, I feel like I gravitate to that too. And just like if I see one thing on it, then it's like the scrolling kind of becomes like a little addictive. Like if I see even one thing that I like, I'm like, oh, just scroll. Like the side scroll is just so easy to do. And like even if I see one thing, I'll just like keep scrolling for a while, like accidentally. Versus like even if I don't mean to, versus like the drop down takes a lot more intention and like purposeful engagement with it, which is like obviously for people who know what they want, that would be good. But for someone who's like lazy like me, and like Kevin is like a very visual person, it takes a lot of intention to go and like click to see the options.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the whole, it's very much more intentional. Like, I feel like the perk of having it be a drop down is that you can maybe in a more clean visual way look at a bunch of different options, but at the same time, like, you might not be able to draw in the kind of person who's like, oh, I'm only getting this one thing. Then like you don't have that like same temptation if you have it be a drop down, because you might not ever even explore that. Whereas when you have just like a little preview, even with the side scroll, I think it kind of lends itself to like tempting your customer a little bit more to buy something that they weren't necessarily originally intending to. So
Yeah. Something that I thought of like while I was doing my sketch was the GoPuff app. Have you guys ever used the GoPuff app? And they have like both kind of like little like sections, I guess, for like alcohol, snacks, like all those different things. And then they also have like the scroll, which I thought was kind of like unique. Like not a lot of apps kind of have that. And then they also have like the drop down at the top where you can like pick a category. So I think that like maybe, yeah, like doing a mix, I guess. Like I don't know. I think I really like the interface of the GoPuff app since they updated it. So that was like just something that I was thinking about. But also like, what if like we could do an option where like when someone opens the app for the first time and you like make your account, like people could do like preferences, like what, like show a little like snippet of like what the interface would look like with both ways, like whether they prefer drop down or like the sliding, and then they could like pick one or the other for like how they would want to have it look, and then like be able to like change it in the settings later if they wanted. Like I don't know if that's a little overwhelming and like too much, but that could be like a consideration. I don't know.
I feel like that choice, like whether or not it's drop down or side scroll, I think that would work really well for something like A/B testing, like figuring out what works the best for your customers. But I think giving your customer the choice might be a little overwhelming. I think if you're originally starting to use an app and you're like, I don't know what I want, like, so yeah, I think that would work really well as a testing thing, but I wouldn't necessarily give it as a choice to your customer.
That's interesting. I feel like more, well, maybe it's just certain kind of apps are giving choice like that. Like, you know, like Google Drive, you have the like 3 different options of how you want to view your files. Same thing with like Apple Notes. That's interesting. Like custom UIs. But I was gonna say about the drop down. I feel like the real consideration about that is how, so like once you click the drop down, you start scrolling down on the products. I feel like, you know, either like pinning that section at the top so you can easily close it back up instead of having to scroll back up and then close it. You guys know what I'm saying? Like that's like the only consideration that I think would have to be made there. But yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So I'm gonna share this slideshow with you guys, and if you guys can take a couple minutes to take pictures of your sketches and then upload them onto the slide deck. You know, just put your name at the top so they don't get mixed up. I mean, at the top of the slide, not your sketches. So next time when we come back, we're going to, you know, you're going to choose one of your designs, choose one of your designs. We're going to make them a high fidelity in Figma, and then do that. We're going to create all 4 screens. You know, the homepage, the cart, listings, everything.
Wait, are you sending the Google Doc in the chat?
Yes.
Cool.
Everyone killed it too. It was awesome.
Okay,
so
wait.
next week. Oh, yeah.
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Whenever I try to airdrop pictures from my phone, the file comes in as HEIC. How do I change that? That makes me so mad because my computer does not like HEIC files.
Mine does that too. I don't know why it doesn't, and I don't know how to change it, but I always fix it just by screenshotting it, and then all of a sudden it's a JPEG.
What the heck? Okay. Yeah, I've had that problem many times before. I don't know why it takes it as it like that just doesn't make sense.
I think you can also just rename it and put .jpeg at the end and it'll change it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let me see.
I totally forgot about that, Ferna. Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, it asks if you want to change extension. Oh, okay.
So
Cool. Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so next meeting, next Friday, I've been in talks with the same speaker for last week now. I still haven't confirmed it, but if it goes through, it'll be a talk on conversational design and VUIs, voice user interfaces. So and she's a master's student in HCDE. She's going to be presenting her research that she's done on the topic and her experience in the workforce. But if that doesn't go through, we're gonna still host an event. It'll just be kind of more of a relaxed, fun event. If you guys just want to hop in for 30 minutes, we'll play a couple games or something. Just hang out. So we can make sure to at least meet next Friday.